The truth in America, your oracle of the deplorables. Thanks for being with us. Go to vabustour.com. That's vabustour.com to follow us. Tomorrow, I think we're in Richmond Friday with Emily Brewer, so you can get the exact address there. It's open to the public. We're at Angelo's Steak and Pancake House in Newport News. You can come and check us out. We're also on Getter Live, Rumble Live, Twitter Live, anything live you can possibly find. Chances are we're on it. And it's good to have you here. We've got a great panel. Let me just start, though, with this. If you don't have your medical kit, you want to get one now. The thing I love about the medical kit from the wellness company is this was designed specifically for people like us that don't want to deal with the best things that we've ever come out with. I got 3 of them for my home and family, for my office, for the RV that we've got. So you want to check this out. All you have to do is go to twc.health/Godzilla, twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla, and you're going to save 10%. You're going to thank me later. Hey, there's an old friend of mine who told me a long time ago, better to have something and you don't need it than need something and you don't have it. And that's basically what these medical kits are, developed by the wellness company and our good friend Dr. McCullough. twc.health/Godzilla, promo code Godzilla, save 10%. Okay, we got a great local panel with us. We have 2 candidates here, even though this is local. All of these races now have national implications going into 2024. Board of Supervisors, George Clark is with us. Board of Supervisors, Stephen Rowe, and then 3 candidates for school board. I'm going to have a hard time with his name. Zoran, I said it earlier. What is it?
Zoran Pajevic.
Pajevic, got it, Zoran. I'm just going to call you Zoran. Kim Goodwin and Linda Fairman is with us. I'm going to start over here on the right with George Clark, long old friend of mine. George, you're finally running for office, right? After running all these campaigns, you said, screw that, I'm just going to run myself. So, George Clark, longtime political consultant. Now you can play, but the risk here is if you don't win, because you're applying all the tools of your trade to your own campaign. So the pressure's on you, George.
The pressure's
You've got to win now.
It's there. There's no doubt about that.
So what I mean, you were a consultant and now you're running for office because you're pissed. What inspired this whole thing?
What inspired me is in York County, we're a heavily red area, and we've had great leadership for decades. And I just felt like I wanted to follow in the footsteps of keeping that great leadership. And even in my local race, we're seeing the national games that are being played by the liberals. They're running an independent against me, quote unquote independents. So all of the Democrats and liberals in my district are thrilled. And then they're trying to split the Republican vote to get rid and oust a solid conservative Republican from being in office.
You?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, why?
Because they know that I will fight the woke agenda, and we know what they want to push.
Right.
There's no secret anymore on this. We know exactly what they're going to do.
I mean, how are you, when you're talking to average voters and you look at this woke agenda and you look at grooming kids in schools and trans people going to the girls getting raped in Loudoun County. I mean, what parent is like, yeah, I'm in favor of this?
I've yet to meet one. So when I am door knocking, and I'm not just door knocking on Republican doors, I'm door knocking on every door. And I'm sure the folks running for school board can probably go into more detail on that. But no, everybody's kind of upset with the situation right now and the direction we're headed. Nobody's really happy with it. Well, there's probably a couple of whack jobs out there that are hard, a whole hard, and nobody's real happy with the direction we're headed.
I think I'm going to go here to Stephen Roan. I'm saying your name?
Correct, yeah.
Stephen Roan, also running for Board of Supervisors here in York County. What is the level of anxiety that residents are having over everything that's going on now in this country? What are you sensing that are motivating people now to vote?
Yeah, it's a good question. Like George is seeing in his district, and I'm seeing it in my district when I go around talking to people, and I knock on every door as well too. I don't pick and choose. I'm going down every neighborhood, every street, talking with folks. And the feedback I'm getting is people move to York County. We like to say it's the best place to live, work, and raise a family because they like the traditional values that we have here in York County, and they want to see that perpetuate, and they want us to continue to preserve those values. So they're concerned about seeing some of these national trends infiltrate here in York County as well. So they're looking to me, they're looking to George and the other leaders here in the county to stem that tide, to make sure that they can continue living under their traditional values and what they enjoy in York County as a quality of life. So that's what we're trying to preserve.
This woke agenda getting shoved down everybody's throat. I mean, it just jammed up your grill. I mean, how are people reacting to that locally? I mean, is there a recoil that you're sensing?
Yeah, definitely negative to it. And people know, they speak to me, they speak to George, that we don't have any play at the national or even the state level, but they're still talking to us about it. They're talking about what they're seeing happening in Congress. They're seeing what's happening in Richmond, the General Assembly, and they're asking us how we can do to help prevent that from reaching here in York County. So yeah, definitely negative reactions to that. That is not the values of York County by and large. So we need to work hard to protect our citizens from that infiltration that we're seeing.
When you say traditional values, a lot of people will chafe at that and say, well, what does that mean, traditional values? Define that.
Well, traditional values, the conservative values that have made this country successful for almost 250 years at this point, and made York County prosperous as well. Taking care of our kids, taking care of our law enforcement, our first responders. And one of the things that people enjoy in York County is they have confidence that if there's an emergency, in minutes somebody will be at their house responding to it and taking care of them. And we need to continue to support our law enforcement and continue to support our fire and safety departments so they can give the people that level of safety they expect.
Stephen Rowan, local candidate for the Board of Supervisors here in York County. Stephen, thank you. I'm going to get to our school board candidates. I'm going to start at the end with Zoran. We had a chance to meet last night when we had dinner. Well, first of all, you got the best campaign manager in the world for your school board race, and that's Delois Stallman, who bills herself as, what did she say? Stay-at-home mom that stays under the radar screen. And then she goes on War Room and blasts Governor Youngkin. I would like to see what happens if you decided to go public. That's right. What would you do then, right? Unbelievable. Anyway, Delois, his campaign manager. Zoran, you're a Serbian.
Yes.
Your wife's an opera singer. Well, I mean, what on earth are you running for school board?
Well, John, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's such a privilege and honor to be here. And you're right, Delois, she is one of the most amazing people that I know, and it's my pleasure to have her on my board. As you say, I am from Serbia. I came here as a refugee. Did not speak any English, so I made my ways through life here in the States, fighting for American dream.
Talking to the mic.
And the reason why I'm running for it is to preserve that American dream for my children. I got three boys in the school system right now that I've seen the level of education going down, and national attention to the school board has just been brought out to our local levels. And I'm strictly and passionately want to fight that because I'm seeing their American dream being actually in jeopardy, and I want to preserve that for them and for the rest of our children.
And so that's a pretty admirable thing that you're doing, especially based on your background. You came here for the American dream. You're a refugee, went through the system, learned English, and now you're very successful. And you want to give back and help other children. What's the reaction to your candidacy been by parents?
My parents, very encouraging. They support me in this endeavor. Very few that I run into that are opposing this agenda that we are sharing as common sense as a parents to protect our children's rights, to be there for them, and to provide them the best possible education. I think every parent in this country actually wants that for their children, and we are fighting every day on the street, looking to get more votes to help us get that agenda on the board.
Let's go to Linda Fairman. Somebody earlier when you first, I think you came here at 5:15 a.m. or something, right?
Yes, I did.
Somebody said to me, "This is the best candidate we've ever had for the school board." And you're right. Is it Newport News or where?
It's York County, District
York
5,
County.
the southern part of York County.
So you guys have got here's how you take a school board over, right? So the way it was explained to me last night is York County conservative area. I used to be the editorial page editor of the what is it called, Delois? I should know the company I work
Daily
for.
Press.
What?
Daily Press?
Daily Press. Thank you. how soon we forget, right? So I remember I was the editorial board editor of the editorial pages of the Tribune Company, and they sent me to Newport News, which I didn't even know where it was, right? So they sent me there, and they say, hey, you have to go there and take the editorial page and make it conservative. It's very liberal, and we're losing subscribers in James City County and York County, right? It's a true story. So I'm like, okay, I don't know where any of these places are. So they said, well, these are the high growth areas, all Republicans there. The editorial pages are too liberal. We did a series of focus groups why people were not subscribing, and they were telling us because the editorial pages are too left wing. So just go there and fix it. Okay, well, it's a little bit easier said than done. So they parachute me in there, conflict immediately. Everybody's a liberal except me. But York County was very conservative, always. So how does a left-wing school board get elected in York County? There's 5 of them. You guys are trying to take over. But how does a left-wing school board take over a Republican conservative area?
Well, this has happened all across the country. They run on conservative values. When they speak, they talk about conservative issues. When they give their positions, they're always leaning conservative. And then as soon as they get elected and they're on the board, you start following their votes, and their votes are no longer conservative. They're on the far left side. And then when it's pointed out to them that these things are not what we want here in York County, their common response is, that's not happening here and we're not doing that, even when they're presented with the evidence.
So basically, when these people got elected to school board, this is before any of us were paying attention to it, really.
Right.
They got elected, they kind of ran as a conservative, but then they get in there, they got the bureaucracy, they hire all these people, they get a $300,000 superintendent, and this isn't for York County, this is everywhere in the country, right? Then they get, they do their wine and cheese thing, then they become Chardonnay mafiosos and take over. And now what you guys are doing, this is a brilliant strategy. There's 5 seats, all 5 are up, right?
Yes.
So you picked 3 of the most left-wing wackos and ran 3 good candidates against them. The other 2 you figure you can work with because they're not nuts, so they're not insane. And if you win 3 out of 5, you get a majority, and so you band yourself together to take the majority and then deal with the other 2 later. That is a brilliant strategy.
Well, thank you for saying it was a strategy. It just kind of happened in where we live.
Deloma said it was her idea.
I used to teach in York County schools. I've been a teacher since 1982 on secondaries. So I started out in high school. I retired from being a middle school teacher. And so I've been seeing this happen for basically the last 20 plus years. And I would try to tell people that this was happening. Like, no, that's not happening here. That's just a rogue teacher. I was like, no, it's not. We're seeing it happen more and more.
Well, you were in the school system.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I guess you could say it was the front lines of it. I used to teach in Newport News. I left Newport News because I was attacked by 2 students. I was punched in the stomach, kicked in the back, and thrown against the desks. And that was 21 years ago. Yes, the same school division that just had the teacher shot by her very young elementary student. So this has been a problem for a while, and parents are realizing that this is a problem. It's come to a head, and it really came to a head during the lockdowns. It was the only blessing from those lockdowns that parents and grandparents were sitting next to their children, watching what was going on the online classes. They're going, wait a minute, this is not what our tax dollars are supposed to be buying. This is not what I want my child or my grandchild to be learning. We want the basic academics, the fine arts, and the PE. We don't want all of the leftist agenda that's being infiltrated in. And so that's why we've stood up and decided to run.
Okay, let's get to Kim Goodwin, also one of the 3 of the 5, Kim, that you have to win. By the way, it is a brilliant strategy. But this is a blueprint for national, how you take this over. And I know one of our sponsors of our bus tour, one of our big sponsors, Patriot Mobile, they put a lot of money behind school board moms and dads running because they believe that's where this real battle is. And for those of us that are populists like me or believe in the MAGA movement, all the focus is always on the national stuff, right? It's always on you know, the presidential, Senate, and Congress. But when it gets down to it, if you don't fix these school boards
Right.
and they're grooming our children and teaching this garbage, I mean, that's not going to matter, right? My son, my oldest son, who grew up a Republican, his first election he voted for George W. because we all did. The alternative was worse. So he voted for Bush. He went to Ole Miss, very conservative, right? Voted Republican there. Then he went to the University of Nevada to get his master's degree. Went there, taught there, got a job. He got an advanced degree, and then Jack became a adjunct college professor at the University of Nevada. During that period, he became a super liberal, left winger, and it's like, what the hell happened between Ole Miss and Nevada? But they get in there and they get indoctrinated and they change their position. Kim, your race, how do you change that? How do you convince people that we're going in the wrong direction?
Well, I think a lot of it is just, first of all, meeting with everybody I possibly can in my district, knocking on every door and having the conversations with people. A lot of people feel the same way. My experience has been that they're concerned about the same things that you just talked about. They see the indoctrination happening. They are concerned about what their kids are learning, and they're really also concerned about the fact that a lot of that is kept from them or hidden. It's not transparent, and it's actually woven in ways that are very subtle. Some can be overt, but there is a lot of subtlety too about how stuff is woven into the curriculum. And because of that, there's a lot of concern. You can't just go in and say, let me see this. It's a big deal to go in and
So they hide it.
Yeah, they hide it.
And so when you get elected for school board, did the school board members know it's hidden in there? Or are they just oblivious?
I think they're oblivious. And the problem I have, what really made me mad, is that we try to bring this to their attention. I've gone to school board meetings, and Linda's gone, and we've talked, and many other parents have brought things to them, and it's across the country. You look at these school boards, and the attitude is we are superior. There's eye rolling, there's the facial expression, you can read the body language, and you know, there's no follow-up. I mean, you can go and you can talk, but you won't hear a follow-up to what you brought as a concern. And
You know, there's going to be follow-up when you kick their ass and get them out of there. That's the only way to do this, is to beat them and get them the hell out of there.
Yeah.
And you know, we were talking last evening, then I'll get back to the supervisors in a second. People don't realize, you know, a lot of the blame will go to the superintendent, their staff. Well, the superintendent serves at the pleasure of the school board. If the majority of the school board doesn't like the superintendent, you fire their ass, right? And they have a contract. You buy it out, right? Like anything else. They don't have a job for life, basically. So if you don't like the way the superintendent is running things, you find a new superintendent. And school boards around the country, either they don't realize that, they don't care, they're timid or whatever, but they let these superintendents roll them. I mean, they hire them, and then they just make all the decisions, and the school board just becomes a rubber stamp.
The superintendent works for the school board, and the school board works for the constituents, and that's
That's
not
the way it was
model.
set up. That's
Yeah,
what
that's
it's
not
supposed
the
to be,
model
right.
we're seeing though
Right.
across the country.
Right.
It's inverted, and we have to fix it.
Right. How does your local races tie in? Let's get back to Clark George, as a Board of Supervisors member, just trying to use York County as the model. You got 5 liberals that somehow get on the school board, so you hear this woke stuff. So now you got a strategy to beat them. You got 3 people running all at the same time. Get a majority. So if it's York County, or we're in Kansas, or we're in Texas, how do you guys get involved with this? And again, local races that are nonpartisan, getting rid of the liberals. How do you do this?
Well, what we're
And
doing.
how does it tie in, George?
Well, what we're doing here, and I'm gonna hand you this. So we're working together as a team, and you know, we're all running independently on our own campaigns. However, but we are also working together when we can. So when I'm out speaking to conservatives, and I was one of the doors, and I learned they're a Republican. I said, hey, by the way, are you aware of the other Republican candidates who want to make a difference? And as you see that little brochure I just gave you, we've been handing out, and then we're also taking a proactive approach, and we are mailing out Republican sample ballots twice.
Smart.
To all
Right.
all swings
Right.
and ours.
Smart.
So we're just getting the word out there, and we're carpet bombing,
Right.
just for lack of a better term.
So basically, you're taking the national politics down to a local level and making people aware. Because a lot of these, I mean, you get very little turnout in these local elections, and that's how the Democrats and the liberals have been able to infiltrate, to have a machine to get, enough voters out, they win, even though you're in a conservative area. How do you see this campaign playing out the way you're involved in it now?
Still George?
Yeah, and then we'll go to Steve.
Well, I see we're getting momentum. I said, right now we have the leader on our ticket is Danny Diggs. So everybody knows who Danny Diggs is, and he's very well respected in York County. He has basically endorsed just about every one of us. So we're out there, we're riding on his coattails a little bit. We're going to take advantage of all the marketing he is doing. So this is why working with Danny, and then all five of us, we speak almost daily. And we share best practices, share ideas. Hey, what are you hearing at your door? What are you hearing at your door? Hey, this is the question I was hit with. I wasn't sure about. How would you answer this? So I think as we do this, our messages can become clearer and clearer, and I expect a full Republican sweep in York County this November 7th.
Well, I tell you what, this is just a testament. People have got to get involved. We always talk about joining your local unit, taking it over, being a precinct captain, but now you got to get to the next level and be a candidate, Steve.
Right, and the local election is so critical. We often look to our state and congressional leaders, for new legislation and to help us be successful in life. But unless you build the right foundation at the local level, they have nothing to stand upon. They have no support. They need our support at the local level to support candidates like Danny Diggs and Chad Green and other folks that we want to see in the General Assembly and in Congress supporting us. We need to be there to support them as well. So it's critical that we work together, collaborate, team up to present a platform and a foundation that we can be successful with in York County, and that our fellows going to Richmond and going to Washington can also stand upon as well.
So it's all a team, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you guys are basically the baseline in your county, but you want to back the school board, you want to back your state house candidates, you want to back your
Right.
congressional candidate. All right, I'm going to end here with the school board. Stephen, thank you.
Sure.
And just ask you this. The superintendent you have right now in York County, would you vote if you were in? I'll start with Linda. Would you vote to reinstate that individual at $300,000 salary or not?
Well, unfortunately, the current school board just signed a new contract with him, but I would be for looking at that contract and basically looking for someone who is more focused on what's best for York County.
A contract is a contract. You buy it out.
This is true.
I mean, it's like
But
it's always got a good contract. You buy it out. The
Right.
contract doesn't mean you have a job for life.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
That doesn't mean that. So, coupled with the fact this is a right to work state. Last
Right.
time I checked,
Right.
right? And by the way, the Tribune company fired me after I did a negative article on Obama. Let's get to if you wanted me to close that loop. Rahm Emanuel called the CEO of the Tribune company in Chicago to get me fired because I wrote a negative article on him when he came into town. Actually, it's the best piece I'd ever done. Kim, would you fire the superintendent we have now? Yes or no?
Yes, I would.
I like that answer.
Yeah, I
Zora?
would. I think we could do better. We could get somebody and pay them less money and get
I
somebody
just
much
think
better.
I just think you would make a statement across the country if you guys came in and said, we had enough. Bye. You signed a 3-year contract. You're going to get your $200,000. Our kids are worth more than that. Have a nice day. And all these people you hired, they're gone too. Zora.
I agree with you, John. I'm a business owner, and I look at all my employees and evaluate their performance. So right now, I'm not happy with our current situation, and I would vote yes.
Somebody told me that your school board superintendent makes $300,000, And then he brought in all these people making like $200,000, and there's like 32 pages of bureaucrats he brought in. It's unbelievable. That money should be going to the teachers.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
absolutely.
And not just that.
Outrageous.
He's given even more with all of the different benefits. We even pay for, I understand, his Kiwanis Club membership.
Unbelievable.
So, and then he's given, was it 59 extra vacation days that he can cash in every year? And I'm sorry, teachers aren't allowed to cash in their days that they don't use.
60 days of vacation.
Nearly that.
Worse than Biden.
Yeah.
All right, folks, thank you. We're on the John Fredericks Radio Network. I want to thank Georgia Clark, Stephen Roan, right?
Correct, yep.
Stephen Roan, Zoran, can't say her last name, Kim Goodwin, Linda Fairman, and Deloa Stallman for working quietly behind the